Hello, my name is Jan Watts. I am the president of the League of Women Voters of the Flint area. Along with Partners Communities First Incorporated and Flint Beat, we share a purpose to engage, empower, and educate local voters. We are happy to bring you a virtual community forum today to help you decide which candidate for representative in the 67th district will get your vote. The State House of Representatives makes important decisions about how your tax dollars are spent. So, knowing about your candidate is important. All candidates for these offices were contacted. Some candidates may have chosen not to participate for a variety of reasons. We hope that you will listen carefully to those who have and check vote411.org to see if there is a written response from any others. All were informed that they would need to comply with certain rules, such as refraining from comments on other persons, and only taking this opportunity to tell voters about your own qualifications, priorities, and outlook. All candidates are asked the same questions and all have the same time to answer. Thank you, and we look forward to an informative discussion. Okay, and I get to start. We're going to provide each of the candidates with 2 minutes for opening remarks. So, candidate Buffin, welcome, and would you like to proceed?
Absolutely. Hi, and hello, Representative Phil Green. Good morning. As I said, my name is Anissa Buffin, and I've lived in the Lapeer community for approximately 18, 19 years. I've been the chairperson of the Lapeer County Democratic Party for 6 years, going on 7. I've become fully aware of the issues that are going on in the county, as well as in District 67, and I thought I'd put my foot in the ring to see if I could continue making changes and progressing in my county and in the district that I'm running for.
Okay, Mr. Green, welcome, and please provide us with a little bit of background on you.
Sure. Thank you all for putting this together. I know coordinating multiple schedules is very difficult, so the virtual option is much appreciated. So thank you for putting it together. Thank you, Anissa, for being here and for putting your name in to run. And representation in our community is very important. I grew up in the booming, or just outside the booming metropolis of Mayville in Tuscola County. And in 1995, I went to college in Florida to be a youth pastor and met my wife there. And we moved to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, then to Western New York, where I pastored a church out there. And then in 2012, I came back to home and became the school administrator of the private school that I graduated from and the assistant pastor at the church that it's associated with. And was the administrator there for 6 years. And from there, in 2018, there became an opening in the state legislature, and I was asked if I would be interested in running. And I viewed that as an opportunity to take what I was doing as a pastor, as a school administrator, and expand those opportunities to help the people in my district. At that time, my district in 2018 was all of Huron County, all of Tuscola County throughout the thumb. And I served them for 4 years, and then redistricting happened. And it flipped me completely north to south. I was able to keep one township that I lived in Tuscola County, and then I added in half of Lapeer County and the northeast corner, Genesee County. So for the last 2 years, I've been representing the 67th district and taking their views, their opinions, as well as looking at the different needs of our community and advocating for them. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 years of being able to be involved in the community and as well as represent them in Lansing.
Thank you.
All right. So for our next question, we'll start with Representative Green. Describe, and it's kind of building on your opening statement as well. Describe your qualifications for the position of in the Michigan House of Representatives, and explain your reasons for running, and particularly what do you hope to accomplish if elected during your term?
Yes, great question. Thank you. So one of the cool things about the legislature is the qualification for being an elector or to being elected is that you have to be a resident of the community. So inside the legislature, we have people from all different backgrounds, all different professions that are able to come and make their voice heard. It's really a cool part of the legislative process when you hear an individual who maybe is a teacher, another individual who is maybe a law enforcement officer, an attorney, or as myself as a pastor. So my background is such that I have a bachelor's degree in Bible youth ministries with a concentration in music. And then I have a master's degree in biblical exposition. And then I'm halfway through 2 different doctorates. One is a doctorate of education and one is a doctorate of sacred ministry. That once I got involved in the political elected world, that I paused both of those doctorates at different times. And so one of the things I hope to bring to the legislature is a concept of touching real people's lives. And sometimes if you're a business person or if you're an attorney, you spend a lot of time doing what you do. Whereas as a pastor, you get involved in people's lives, whether it's with substance abuse, or maybe it is with domestic abuse, or maybe it's the economics of their family and giving counseling in that type of an arena. So my hope and goal is that I take real people's lives and experiences and take that to Lansing, and instead of talking theory, talking about how this is going to affect my people and how I can help them.
All right. Thank you very much. Mrs. Buffin, same question. Describe your qualifications for running for the position of in the Michigan House of Representatives and explain your reasons for running. And if elected, what do you hope to accomplish during your term?
Well, my qualifications for running are a master's in public history, which deals with public policy, city planning, administrative structures on communities and things like that. I've also listened to community leaders within our district, all sorts of leaders with all sorts of concerns, mostly public education educators and the issues that they're concerned about in their daily jobs. My hope when I'm becoming the representative of District 67 is to listen to all of those people within the community and work with the current administration to progress some of those concerns, to make some of these issues perhaps either alleviate them to some degree or to get rid of them altogether. We have farmers out there that are concerned about tax breaks and bills that are not being passed to help them in their livelihood. We have public education educators who are really concerned about gun safety, gun reform, things like that. I want to work with the current administration to progress some of those legislative things that are on the floor right now and make them law, so that kids can go to school safe and everybody in the community can be safe also. But the key here is I want to work with everyone. The diversity in the district is vast, and so I want to be that person that they can reach to, that can be approachable, that they can feel that they can come to, and I certainly will listen to their concerns.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ms. Buffin, what do you perceive as the biggest challenges in your district that should be addressed by the state legislature? And what are the biggest challenges impacting the state, but not necessarily your district? And then how do you balance those priorities?
some of the concerns that I'm hearing out of District 67, and again, in Lapeer County as a whole, are issues that are going on statewide, in my opinion. I'm hearing a lot of fearfulness regarding national candidates, right? I see the district being rather divisive, one side or the other. I want one of my responsibilities is to help bridge some of that divisiveness in the community. Gun safety is a big concern. I hear arguments from both sides about what to do about that. I know that that's currently in the legislation right now at state level. Environmental safeties. We all know that the Flint water crisis is still not completely resolved. I want to work and make sure that that continues to get completed, and so that everybody has safe living environment, feel comfortable about it, they're not fearful about it, and they, again, regain confidence in their local community government. Other than that, those are the two big issues that I see. Again, I see things in the community like banning books. I think that has been made a priority that shouldn't be made a priority. I think what we should be doing is making sure that the library is a place for everyone to share and to enjoy, as it's public, right? I want to lead for everyone, not just for a select few, right? And so that means making our community safe for everyone, and that goes environmentally, that goes school structures, that goes into local government commissioners and things like that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Green, same question. What do you perceive as the biggest challenges in the district that should be addressed by the state legislature? And then again, what are the biggest challenges impacting the state, but are not necessarily issues within your district? And how do you plan to balance those?
Yeah, that's a very vast question. And part of that, the vastness comes in the differences of the district. We have some very rural areas of our district in the northern section. And then over on the western section, we have some more developed or more concentrated areas in Genesee Township. And then we move over to some more affluent areas over in the Lapeer area. And so those are different things that have, each part of that district has maybe some different areas. And one thing I consistently hear that was brought to light really during 2020 when we shut down our schools and went to a virtual learning is the access to rural broadband and the access to just the basics that are now part of our life. So that broadband or the cell phone services and up in the northern section of our community, they don't really even have access to high-speed internet. And so we have been working very diligently. Obviously, we now have a state government department for high-speed internet. We've created a grant program to allow different entities to apply for state money to build out a network. In fact, up throughout the thumb and on the western side of Lapeer County, we have different entities that are running fiber to the homes. And so in the next 5 to 7 years, I'm hoping to see that we're able to access the high-speed internet as well as access to healthcare and making sure that all of our districts, all of the communities in our district have access to not only just healthcare, but high-level specialist doctors and making sure that they have the rehab that they need. I hear economic concerns, rising inflation, and it is amazing to me watching how much in the last 6 years, the state's budget of general fund has gone from $10 billion to the state is now collecting over $17 billion from its residents. And the cost of doing business and the cost of living has just been an unbelievable change in the past 6 years. So bringing the cost of inflation down.
All right. Thank you all so much. So our next question, and we'll start with Representative Green on this. A number of constituents across the state are tired of partisan and political stalemates. How do you plan to approach and work with members of the other party? And what would you do differently to make a difference and try and regain just general public trust?
Yeah, that is obviously something that is heard consistently, and I think even as raising children, my children are a little bit older now. They're 23, 20, and 17. One of my goals was to help them just to become a normal human being and being able to interact with other individuals that you may not even know. I remember growing up, if in a rural part of Tuscola County, if we needed a cup of sugar or a stick of butter to finish up the chocolate chip cookies, we would hop on our bike and drive a quarter mile, or I'd go up to our neighbors. We didn't care what political persuasion they were. We were neighbors and we took care of each other. In the last several years, the political divide has just become really disheartening, where it's really pitted neighbor against neighbor. In the legislature, my goal has been to treat everybody with respect. And so therefore, across the aisle, I have some very good friends. Even this past week, one of my colleagues from over in the Genesee County, I actually go to church in his district. I go to church in Flushing. And so I contacted my representative friend over there, and I invited him to one of our church events where we had 1,000 kids from across the state at a Harvest Fest. And he and I, you can see it on my social media page, he and I spent the day talking about the needs that his district has that butts up to my district, and being able to, I'm not going to use the word be friends. I hope at some point we are friends. I hope that we are friends, but treating each other with respect. And how do we begin a bipartisan, maybe a caucus where we look and say, okay, let's just do what's right regardless of the political persuasion of our colleagues on the other side of the fringes on each of each party.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Buffin, same question. A number of constituents are tired of partisan and political stalemates. How do you plan to approach and work with members of the other party? And what would you do differently to make a difference and try and regain general public trust?
Well, I couldn't agree more. And I think it's maybe one of the things that Representative Green and I do agree on is the divisiveness in our communities has become vaster and vaster as the years have gone by. We have currently in Lapeer County a county commission who priorities perhaps need to be realigned with the needs of the community. Representative Green mentioned broadband, and getting those into our rural communities is just absolutely essential. During the pandemic, when public schools were virtual, it was a huge pain point getting those classes to be conducted properly without all of those system issues. I mean, I've heard people, conducting class in McDonald's parking lots, solely because we can't get this broadband implemented into our communities, again, because we're worried about banning books out of our public library. I mean, that's what our county commission currently is worried about. And I think that bridging those and having those conversations and starting to bridge some of those communications with county commissions, with fellow neighboring representatives and fellow neighboring districts is absolutely essential to gain progress in some of these huge projects that need to be implemented. We have the ARPA funds, we have the money, we need the leadership to get those things implemented and get those done. And I am absolutely willing to work with anyone to get that started and get those things available to everybody in those rural communities. Communication and messaging, I think, is also an issue that needs to be taken care of. We need clear, correct messaging from our leaders in the communities in order to make everyone start to get on the same page.
Thank you so much. All right, our next question, and we only have two more here. Ms. Buffin, we'll start with you. What strategic long-term goals do you have, both for your district and for the state of Michigan?
That's a big picture question. I only have 2 minutes.
That's the
You know, the
challenge here.
top high level thing, again, not to push the point, but again, broadband internet access to these rural communities is absolutely essential and needs to be done and implemented yesterday. Right. I think we need to stop being concerned about some of these high level other, like, to the far right issues, like, again, not to belabor the point, but banning books, cutting healthcare, mental health services within our district is completely illogical to me to understand, and yet it is on agendas and it is happening if we allow it to do. Again, gun reform. I don't want to take away anyone's guns. I don't want to do some mass turn-in situation. I do want to educate, and I do want to communicate some of the real, very real issues that are going on in our public arenas. Schools being in particular. Fifth graders are having, gun drills. It's crazy, and it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be taken care of. And that is the only way I can think of is at the state legislature level. Again, in working with the current administration, not against it.
All right. Well, same question, Representative Green. What strategic long-term goals do you have both for your district and for the state of Michigan?
Yeah, so obviously we've looked a lot at this over the course of several years. The governor has put together a commission on studying the population shrinkage in Michigan. And I looked at that and I sort of laughed. I said, well, it seems like that has already been created. It's called the legislature. We have one person from every 90,000 people that can talk about what is happening in Michigan. But really, we need to make Michigan a place where people want to live and raise their family. In 2012, I made the choice that I wanted to move back to Michigan because I wanted to raise my kids in the same area and in the same environment that I grew up in, and how that was very special to me. Having those community relationships, knowing who your neighbors are, and not being scared to hop on your bike and drive 3-4 miles to get to the store or get to your friends. Just recently, I was at the Sloan Museum and I read an article about why they had a connection as to why General Motors started pulling out of Flint. And because it was basically over a dispute over how much taxes Flint was charging General Motors. And at that point in the 1980s, it was almost $10 million that General Motors was suing Flint. We have to make our government cognizant and aware that their policies are what is driving our economic future. And so when our taxes are out of whack, and when we are on an economic war with business, those businesses will leave and go to other states that aren't surrounded by water, and they will take those jobs with them. And then that has a very real economic impact on each of our communities coming down into Lapeer County, the manufacturing process. And so I think when we begin to question what makes Michigan a place where I want to live and I want to raise my family, those are the questions we need to ask.
Thank you.
Okay, kind of wrapping up from both of you, and we'll start with Representative Green. Is there anything else you would like the voters of this district to know about your candidacy?
Well, I'm very thankful that in 2022, this district voted and sent me to Lansing to represent them. I've been tried to be as transparent as possible, understanding that we do not have a true media market in the 67th district. It's sort of a patchwork. Even our newspapers are sort of a patchwork of this newspaper covers this area and this covers that area. So what I would ask them to do is to make sure that they communicate with me, and that also that they do their best to follow my communications, because I cannot possibly be on the news every night, but through social media and then through office hours. In the last 2 years, I've been in every community 2 times at a minimum, hosting office hours and saying, please come talk to me. And if I can help you, if I can help you navigate the bureaucracy, or if I can just make some connections to help you get to the right people, I am more than willing to help anybody and everybody and to be their representative, their voice in Lansing.
Thank you. Ms. Buffin, same question. Anything else you'd like the voters of this district to know about you?
I would like them to know that I am focused on making the district more diverse. We are a little monochromatic in our industry, but I do agree with Representative Green. Michigan, the state of Michigan, the entire state of Michigan, particularly in this area, though, is gorgeous. I continue to live in Michigan because it's an absolutely amazing place to be. However, in District 67, we do have a lot of industry that has either gone by the wayside due to progress, due to different technologies and things like that. There is no reason why we can't look at those industries, revamp them, innovate them, think outside of the box, get them back up and running, producing jobs in that manner. Environmentally, I think there is a lot of opportunity that can be done. Again, I'm also concerned about the real-time concerns that are going on in the community. Also, I agree with Representative Green in the fact that I would love to walk down the street and be welcomed by my neighbors in a friendly way. However, if I'm wearing a particular political party shirt representing my beliefs and my interest, that interaction is often not positive. And again, I believe bridging that divisiveness that has been created in our communities needs to be addressed yesterday, right? I will be approachable. I will love to listen to both sides. But again, getting commissions' agendas on point and dealing with the real live concerns of everyone in the community is going to be a top priority for me.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining us today. And thank you to everybody watching online. As a reminder, Election Day is November 5th, 2024. Polls will be open on that day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can also vote by absentee ballot currently, or you can vote early in person for at least 9 days before Election Day. If you'd like to know more about your voting options, head to michigan.gov/vote and exercise your right to vote and be a part of your community. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.